Recognizes the gentleman from Mississippi, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, for being here today. Under President Trump's leadership, America's restored deterrence and secured our southern border. Thanks to this renewed strength, we're seeing positive momentum in both recruiting and retention. Our adversaries are thinking twice, not just because of our advanced capabilities, but because of the courage and dedication of the men and women in uniform who defend this nation every day. Still, we face serious growing challenges. China remains a pacing threat. Deterring that threat requires more than just strategy. It requires a strong, responsive defense industrial base. That starts with the timely and adequate investments, and investment begin with a budget. We have to have a budget. Despite defense spending is the price of deterrence, we've got to stay focused and strong. With that being said, Mr. Secretary, I've championed the Ships for America Act with Mr. Garamendi from California and Senator Young and Senator Kelly in the Senate. I know the administration is behind this. Right now, are you committed to getting this SHIPS Act and getting our maritime industry and base to where we need it to be a strong maritime nation, which means a great nation?
Sir, I would refer to Bryn for the actual details of what is included from that bill in our budget, but I can say top line, we are historically committed. $47 billion in shipbuilding in this budget alone. It was mischaracterized because of baseline versus reconciliation, but when you look at the total investment, historic. Same with defense industrial base. So we recognize the failures and failings of the past. We're also not just pouring money into the same processes. We're hiring innovators, and we've got secretaries who are driving change, personally reviewing each shipyard across the country to recognize what's failing and what isn't, how we address workforce issues, how we address modernization.
I'm going to take that as a yes where I can get something else, because we work with the administration, the Senate, and the House, bipartisan, bicameral, throughout the administration to get that done. Acquisition reform. General Kane, thank you for your leadership. As the committee works to streamline acquisitions through the SPEED Act and give program executive officers, PEOs, more agility, I want to make sure that we're doing the right things at DOD writ large, especially when we're talking about Navy and Air Force and some of the programs that we do. Requirements cannot be shifted on a yearly basis. They at least need to stand steady through an administration. So we need requirements that are steady. We can't tell them how to build things. What we need to tell them is the capabilities we need and let industry build that. We can't always let perfect be the enemy of good. We need to keep and maintain during the acquisition process intellectual property rights so that we can repair those things ourselves, so that we can 3D print. There are so many things that we can do better that we put artificial barriers because we have a risk-averse DOD now, especially in acquisitions. And finally, we need to make sure if we say we're building 4 destroyers next year, we don't need to next year say, well, we're going to change that to 3. We have to send a steady demand signal. We have to do block buys, and we have to hold these PEOs responsible for finishing the program, or at least getting it to a point where it's in production. We cannot rotate every 2 or 3 years. Are you committed to make sure that we do everything we can to help our industrial base, give the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines the products they need to win?
Well, sir, there was a lot of goodness in this statement, and by the way, thank you for your service yourself here in the uniform for so many years. You covered a lot of ground between requirements to PEOs. One of the things that I think we, both the military and the Congress, are going to have to think through is how do we buy aligned with the technology development curve, back to your point about requirements. And what I need to try to think through with you is how do we ensure that the force of the future has the relevant and current combat capability to dominate on the battlefield. And technology is evolving so incredibly fast that we need both a requirement system, an acquisition system, leaders that understand that. And I think that's going to require some partnership between the department and the Congress to think through that, and clarity around what are we solving for.
And finally, real quick, Secretary Hegseth, please have the Navy get us a shipbuilding plan that is not an option. We have not had one for the last 7 years. Please get us a 30-year shipbuilding plan, of which the first 4 years are locked in.
Gentleman's time's expired.